You may have noticed that I've gotten a lot of steam for my collection recently, but my layout is mostly a modern model railroad. So how do I run steam in a prototypical fashion on a modern model railroad? Well, let me show you. First, I'll address this. I kind of lost a fight with a door. I misstepped and hit the edge of a door, so that's where that came from. But let's get on to other things. Today I'm showing you how I run steam on a modern model railroad in a somewhat prototypical fashion. I really love steam locomotives. I think everyone loves steam locomotives, but they can be hard to run when you're trying to do prototypical things and you're running in the latter eras. They're fun to have, but you really don't know what to do with them. Well, I'm going to show you how to do that with excursion trains. We start out here in the East Valley yard on my layout, which is a small yard that really handles the industries around it. Now you'll notice that there is a steam locomotive there, and that is for our excursion train. This is where it lives when it's not running. But the main actor today is going to be NS7138, which is a Fox Valley Models Jeep 60, and it's one of my favorite little locomotives that I have. 7138 is going to start off by pulling out the cut of cars that's going to be attached onto a freight that's going to be coming in and doing some drop-offs as well. Now the crew in the previous day did the setup on this, so it was just ready to go when the crew got there this morning. After positioning the cars in place, 7138 moves to not foul the grade crossing right here while it waits for the freight to come through and pick up the cars and drop off what it needs to sort and deliver. Now that is a little track hiccup that only that locomotive suffers from. I've tried everything except for ripping out the track and I can't figure it out. So right now, I'm just kind of living with it. Now it's time for the freight to go ahead and grab its pickups and add them to its consist. It'll now use those cars as a handle to do the drop-offs, which is one tank car and two covered hopper cars. Once all that is done, the freight train can head out, and that is the last that we will see of it during this op session. Now that the freight train is gone, 7138 comes back to life and goes to grab the pickups so that it can sort them for the deliveries it can take out and switch. Now, while all of this has been going on, 4501 has been steaming up. In my scenario here, this train is on loan from the Tennessee Valley Railway Museum for doing the excursions around the Twin Valley region. 4501 lights up and heads out to its stop. It's going to be running the Twin Valley Loop, and it'll do it a couple times for each excursion, and it will be running 2 excursions today.
The train will be sitting here for a little while, waiting for its time to run the excursion. In the meantime, 7138 is doing its switching and getting everything set up for the East Valley Industrial Park train and the quick little West Valley train as well. It's time for the excursion train for its first excursion of the day, so it starts to head out from West Valley. It's going to be doing a couple of laps around the Twin Valley Loop, which includes going by the Yard and the East Valley Industrial Park, as well as through the Twin Valley Mountain Pass. Now, while that's going on, like I said, 7138 is building the trains in a little bit of a fourth wall break here. You can see my hand coming in and doing the uncoupling. I'm using a bamboo skewer for this. I've talked about this a lot, but you've never actually seen me do this. So this is an example of me using the bamboo skewer to do my uncoupling. While waiting for clearance to go, the excursion train comes by the Yard one more time, and then 7138 can head out to the East Valley Industrial Park. The East Valley Industrial Park has technically four industries that can be worked. It has a chemical plant with 2 sidings, a scrap metal facility, and a distribution warehouse, which is what you see being worked right now, and just dropping off a new boxcar there. It's typically what I switch first because I made the switch a little bit more complicated. And then I go ahead and switch out the chemical plant, which is the largest industry on the layout. And once that is done, I will go and knock out the scrap metal facility. Now, I said there were 4 industries technically on this. You can see right next to those semi-trucks that there is another set of track, and that's more of kind of a team track if I ever want to use it that way. It's on the same siding as the distribution warehouse, so you would have to work with that, but that's technically a 4th industry for this area. Once all that is done, I can reconnect with the rest of my pickups and do the long shove back to the Twin Valley Yard. Next, 7138 goes and hooks up to the West Valley train and goes ahead and does a quick runaround move once it gets it out on the main line to get in position to switch all of the West Valley industries. Now 7138 does have to wait for the excursion train to come back to the yard. It comes back to the yard midday to refuel between its two excursions, and what it does is it basically pulls in and pulls there, and I'm imagining that there would be like a water truck and a dump truck full of coal for any of its fuel needs, and it's going to sit there and refuel, and the crew is going to take a lunch break, and then the afternoon excursion will happen in a few hours. And during those few hours, the 7138 will be able to go up to West Valley and do all of the switching that is necessary. Everything is clear, the turnouts are aligned, and 7138 can start heading up the mountain to West Valley with its drop-offs. Now, in past operation sessions, I've actually done this several different ways. Today, I'm going to be taking the hopper cars and sighting them off and just spotting them off here first, and then switching the lumber yard with the two box cars out and two box cars back in, and then I will switch out the cement plant, and then I will go ahead and grab all of my pickups and shove back to the yard. Now, as I'm heading back to the yard from West Valley, the excursion train is heading back out. And then once it is out of the way, I can go ahead and bring in my pickups, and after a quick run around, I can store them in the yard, ready to be picked up by the next freight train coming through. The last thing that happens is the excursion train comes back to the yard after its second round of trips for the day, and it's going to go ahead and just park itself on the siding.
This is a simple and effective way to run steam on a modern model railroad. Doesn't matter what scale or anything like that. This lets you put pretty much whatever you want in terms of steam engines into your model railroad, especially anytime from like the 1980s onward. You can do this. It's a really fun way to do this, and it adds another factor of something to work around in your op session. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, and happy railroading.